Wasn't tight, not malicious.
Next door. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So it's gonna be a little bit.
That's fine.
Just letting you know.
Are they going to be seen as a pixelated?
No, they're gonna see you.
Oh, okay. So,
And that's really.
you want me to manage it from here?
Yeah. You can
Okay,
change
then that's
it
fine.
here. And when you go over to show the presentation, you know how to do that, right?
I think it's
It's room DC.
room to see, yes.
Yeah.
And can I log in as myself?
You can log in as a guest, I believe.
Oh, there's another.
Yeah, I believe you're in the internal network.
Yes, I know.
So you just have to go to. We're connected live to Santa Barbara right now, so they can hear everything. It's just going to be a little pixelated until we figure out why that's happening. Thank you. You're welcome.
Does it automatically project outside or can you turn that off?
I don't believe it's projecting.
It was when I walked in, I could hear somebody.
Is it projecting outside right now?
When I came in just a few minutes ago, unless you changed it, I could hear the Santa Barbara room talking.
Let me go walk over.
I don't know about these little meetings.
It's a little nerve wracking.
I know it's okay, but
It's a lot of details.
yes, it is. I'm just like. "Ah." But I used this room so many times. Summers and oh, it's not too bad. Are you guys still meeting virtually? You and your group?
Yeah, we made virtual findings again just on Friday and noted, well, we'll see what happens now that CDC is changing theirs. And they're no longer gonna be, I don't know the official language, but doing away with social distancing. I don't know if it's that they're not recommending it anymore or they're just, I don't know what the official verbiage is.
Okay, whenever.
Or actually, Supervisor Williams, his sign is here. He's not here yet, but he's expected to be here. So otherwise, I have 3.
Okay, let me just check with CSB TV and see if we can get the recording ready and get going, and we'll be ready to go. Good morning, Commissioners. It is 9:02, and we are going to call the meeting to order. We will begin with a roll call. So please unmute your mics. Commissioner Ortiz, Commissioner Handel,
Present.
Commissioner Salcido,
Here.
Commissioner Heitman, Commissioner Williams, Commissioner Nielsen,
Here.
Commissioner Cerrone, Commissioner Neenan,
Here.
thank you, Commissioner Nelson, Commissioner Grimacy,
Here.
thank you, Commissioner Paredes Ulloa, and Commissioner Gerber. Thank you. We have a quorum present this morning. We will now move on to item A3, and that is a motion to appoint a chair pro tem in the absence of both the chair and vice chair at today's meeting. May I get a motion for that and also a, what's the word? A nomination, please.
I so move and ask Susan Salcido to be the pro tem.
Thank you so much. So we have a nomination for Susan Salcido to serve as chair today. We have a motion by Neenan, second by,
I'll second Suzanne Grimacy.
thank you, Suzanne. We had Chief Heitman second up here in Santa Maria. All right, we will go ahead and do a roll call for this item now. Commissioner Handel,
Aye.
Commissioner Salcido,
Aye.
thank you, Commissioner Heitman,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams, Commissioner Nielsen,
Aye.
Commissioner Neenan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Grimacy.
Aye.
Thank you. This motion passes, and I will hand it over now to Chair Salcido.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. It's great to see all of you and hear your voices in Santa Maria. And right now, we're ready to approve the June 27th meeting minutes. If we can get a motion for approval, please.
This is Suzanne. I'll motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Who was the second? Oh, Chief Heitman? Okay, thank you.
Do we need a roll call on this, or are we able to say?
No, we will need a roll call since there are both there are commissioners in both hearing rooms, so I will
Excellent.
do roll calls for these items, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Handel?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Salcido?
Aye.
Commissioner Heitman?
Aye.
Commissioner Williams? Commissioner Nielsen?
Aye.
Commissioner Neenan?
Aye.
And Commissioner Grimacy.
Aye.
Thank you. This motion carries.
Thank you. And looking now for public comment for items not on the agenda, do we have any here in the south and any in the north?
We don't have any public item on either hearing rooms, Madam Chair, and we did not receive any beforehand in writing either.
Great, thank you so much. Then we'll move on to information items from commissioners. B1, any announcements from the commissioners today? I'd like to welcome everyone back to school in Santa Barbara County. Dates for back to school, K through 12. It's a range. Started last week, this week, next week will be opened throughout Santa Barbara County. So welcome back to school, everybody, and thank you for all the support. We'll go on to our executive director's comments. Wendy.
Yes, good morning, everyone. As you can see, we're back in person, kind of, sort of, and so we're working through all of the the technology that keeps us together and able to meet in separate places.
Wendy, can you hold? We've lost sound up here in the Santa Maria hearing room. We'll let you know when it comes back on, so if we could just pause.
Pardon the delay, the technician is working on the audio right now. Madam Chair, can you please start making comments again, please?
You got it. Let's test this out.
Thank you. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, back to Wendy. Thank you.
Okay, you know, I was thinking of, I try to get up in the morning, think about what words need to help me through the day, and I think today has to be grace and patience throughout the day. So thank everyone that's working on, again, on the technology that, you know, again, is benefits and sometimes challenging. I also want to just recognize Renata Valadres. She's one of our newest advisory board members, so she's joining us here today. So I want to direct us and thank you for coming and thank you for serving on our advisory board as well. Also, I just want to welcome everybody back back to school and figuring all those things out. You know, certainly our mission is to make sure that our children are ready to enter kindergarten and their families have been supported throughout as part of our mission. And so we've kind of been doing that all through the summer, making sure books are out there. There's lots of books drives and little kids doing what they do. And we actually had some little hand painting ourselves, and there's a thing about getting in paint that does something about that. And so things that we want to move forward to as part as kids go back to schools and families get back where they're going as part of that that process that happens this time of year is doing self-care and taking time out and take a deep breath and know that everything's going to be okay, and making sure that we are taking care of each other. I also want to announce that Sarah Gonzalez has just committed and graduated from the Leading for Community Impact in her graduation. So we continue to make sure that we are developing personally and professionally here so that we're able to provide our commissioners with the best support, and certainly our families and our communities. I don't have a whole lot. We hope you've had a restful time off. We've been busy getting things ready to start off and looking at schedules, as you'll see, being more efficient with our work, with our agenda. So doing a lot of internal work that we've been doing over the summer. And I just want to share my appreciation for the staff who's been great in getting things ready and set to go. And I think we are just, Summers is our newest. We introduced her last meeting, and then we also have an opening for an evaluation manager that we're looking at. So we're busy doing what we need to do. And so that's pretty much it that we have for right now. The rest is we've been doing internal work, and so not a lot of business that we'll be reporting. I know Suzanne will be giving us a quick fiscal update. Also, I would say a lot of changes that are going on at the state. We just, actually for the First Five Association, which is a critical partnership for us in all the 58 counties, we just hired an executive director. Looking forward to that. A lot of legislation that's happening, and that we'll be bringing that to you so that how it's impacting us as First Five or in general for the population that we serve. So a lot of legislation that we'll be bringing and updating, and it won't necessarily be just at a commission meeting. We want to make sure that you're getting it out there for you along the time that's happening. If you need to make any decisions, or if you have any questions that we need to answer. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Suzanne, a fiscal update for us.
Good morning, everyone. It's really nice to see so many faces. It really makes a big difference. Today, I'm going to discuss the audit process. We're in the thick of it right now, and the audits for fiscal year 21-22. The fiscal year ended in June, and the outcome of the audit will be a very comprehensive annual financial report, which discusses how our commission works per county ordinances and also presents our financial results. The closing of the books at year ends happens in just 12 days. And now we are in the phase of the annual audit and generation of the financial report for the prior year. Internal county auditors work with us to prepare the financial statements, and the external auditor, Brown Armstrong, has replied to the first draft of the report. Another set of drafts will be exchanged before the report is finalized September 2nd. Before the report is finalized, the First Five Fiscal Committee meeting will review the financial audit and report and provide input. We value our fiscal committee members greatly, as they have background with financial reporting and ask good questions. We also value the county internal audit staff, as they have the background of also working at the county level on the county audit. And this is important as county data flows into our department's report. The internal audit staff ensures our report is consistent with county results and terminology. In the financial report, the revenues and expenses are categorized by the result areas defined by First 5 California and will be reported to First 5 California, so the results can be aggregated by the 58 counties in California. The result areas are called out in our strategic plan with their outcomes and indicators for children's development. The result areas are improved family functioning, improved child development, improved child health, and improved systems of care. First 5 California provides a definition of how the work we do shall be categorized by the result areas, and so the statewide aggregated results are standardized well by type of work. First 5 and the auditors will present the audit results and the final financial report at the September Commission meeting, so stay tuned. Are there any questions?
All right, hearing none. Thank you very much. And we'll go on now to B5, RFP 360 system presentation. Michelle.
Hi, good morning, everybody. South County and North County and my colleagues here. I'm just going to give you a brief update on our RFP 360 software that launches today. We're super excited. Did we just lose them?
Let me go check, but can you guys still see us down in South County?
No, we can't. We can hear you, but we
Okay.
can't see you.
Can you hear? Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna keep talking while she works with the video. As part of our Renew 22 goals to provide more services online for customers, but also just to get with the modern age. For those of you who've been around for a while, when we would get applications for funding, we would put together these like 6-inch binders that people had to go through, wasted a lot of trees, a lot of time copying. And so this is a product that is getting all of our applications for funding online. If you're interested in seeing a little video on that, you can look it up on rfp360.com. There are 4 specific components to the software. One is that we get to develop a template library. So all of our applications from the ARPA funding that's going to be released today, which is a huge initiative for the next 3 years, to our simple express grants and co-sponsorships that can be applied for on a monthly basis. So we're really excited about that. Once an applicant gets their unique identifier, they can become a regular applicant. I'm looking at my team, which is on each side of me. This is your RFP 360 team in this row right here. So that it's always stored there. So when they go to apply for another opportunity, it's already in there for them. We can assign tasks, set the deadlines, answer frequently asked questions through the platform. And the super exciting thing is our scorers, which is our contract support committee, is able to do all of their comments online, and then that's recorded so that all the other scorers can also see the comments before they make their final decisions. And we have the ability to actually take the vendor applicant out and then just score it based on the content of the application. So it helps to address a little bit of the bias maybe that we have with well-known agencies in the county, and makes it a little bit more objective. We're able to do the evaluation and scoring right there, and then it gives us the top scores. So it makes sure our math is done okay. And then it gives us a dashboard on reporting of where we are in the process so that we're not missing any steps. So we're very excited about this. Again, we're launching it today with the ARPA childcare sector funding that the Board of Supervisors approved in June, and we'll let you know how it goes. So any questions? Right, thank you.
Thank you. Sounds very exciting, very informative, modern day information. So very exciting. And thanks to the Wendy and the team for all the reports. And again, congratulations to Sarah for completing your exciting program. So next we go into action items. We have a hearing coming up, an annual hearing for the audit, which Suzanne mentioned just a few moments ago, and that's for September 19th, an annual required audit. And we do need a motion to set that public hearing, please.
I'll move to set the hearing.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second. This is Suzanne.
Great, thank you. We'll need a roll call, please.
Thank you for that. Commissioner Handel,
Aye.
Commissioner Salcido,
Aye.
Commissioner Heitman,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Nielsen,
Aye.
Commissioner Neenan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Grimsey.
Aye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This motion carries.
Thank you. All right, action item C2, Maria Novat, please.
It's that time again where pursuant to Government Code 87306.5, each local agency which has adopted a conflict of interest code is required to review such code every even numbered years. 2022 is an even numbered year, so here we are. The conflict of interest code identifies positions designed to file regular public financial disclosure forms, the Form 700, because they make or participate in making or influencing governmental decisions. So as you all know, the county has adopted a single comprehensive conflict of interest, which incorporates disclosure categories for designated positions. Designated positions that do not have decision-making authority or do not match the disclosure categories will need to be reviewed to determine if there is, in fact, a filing requirement. This is what the board is doing today. So my understanding is that instead of deleting any of the designated positions, first 5 is adding one. That of, and Sarah can correct me, business leader or business manager or something to that effect.
Yes, the positions that's being added is the Department Business Specialist 2 position. Everything else that's in your packet, as far as positions, those are remaining as is.
All right. So if there are any changes to the exhibit, which is our Exhibit C, and I believe we're number 16, is that correct? Exhibit 16? Then
Yes.
that is to be reviewed and discussed, recommended, and voted on today. Once that's done, then we will submit it, the first 5 will submit it to the Elections Division.
Thank you.
Okay.
Really appreciate it. Any questions for Maria at this time? May we hear a motion to add Department Business Specialist 2 to the conflict of interest list, please?
So moved. Neenan?
Second, Williams.
Great, thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you. Commissioner Handel,
Aye.
Commissioner Salcido,
Aye.
Commissioner Heitman,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Nielsen,
Aye.
Commissioner Neenan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Grimsey.
Aye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This motion carries.
Thank you very much. And now we get to hear from Tanya Heitman, the Evaluation Committee report. Please, thank you.
Thank you, Chair Salcedo. We have some business from our last meeting that we had tabled. In the interest of time. We had need to approve our minutes from the February 2nd Evaluation Committee meeting. And I realize I'm taking these out of order in the interest of trying to do them in chronological order. You should have the minutes in your packets from February 2nd. Can I get a motion to approve them?
So moved. Nielsen.
Second,
you.
Williams.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Heitman, Commissioner Handel,
Aye.
Commissioner Salcido,
Aye.
Commissioner Heitman,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Nielsen,
Aye.
CommissionerEenan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Grimacy.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Heitman. This motion carries.
Okay, the other item that we had on the agenda was a report out from our May 18th meeting, which seems like it was forever ago. But those of us that were present reviewed and discussed the draft of the early learning implementation annual impact reports. This is their first year of implementation. And we had draft reports from Guadalupe Union School District, Santa Maria Bonita, Lompoc Unified, and Santa Barbara Unified. The committee gave input on the consistency and organization of the briefs and directed staff and UCSB to continue to work on them. For first year drafts, I think they looked really good, and we're looking forward to a level of consistency across the briefs that will aid the reader in being able to pick up the key information quickly. So I thank those that were on the committee for participating in the discussion, as well as staff and the UCSB partners. And that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Heitman. Appreciate it. Any questions or clarifications before we move on? Okay, let's hear from Michelle Robertson on the committee reorganization, and their materials are in our packets, and looks like there was a lot of work put into organizing this information for us. So turn it over to Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Salcido. So this is a continued item from our June 27th joint meeting with the advisory board. This is to look at our Children and Families Commission subcommittee descriptions. So today you're going to be taking a final look and moving to approve these. Just as a reminder, the subcommittees are the working groups of the commission and are relied upon to deeper dive into the business of First Five Santa Barbara County. So in terms of just efficiency of commission meetings, the subcommittees really are the working unit to get into the details and then bring back the recommendations to the full commission, so that our commission meetings are essential and efficient, as I said. So there are very few changes that are made to these descriptions from June, except for one. We went ahead and took our social justice and racial equity statement commitments and embedded those into each of the committee descriptions. So within each subcommittee is embedded a commitment that goes along with the feel and intent of that committee, and should be the lens by which we base our directions and actions. So to see those embedded, if you are flipping through each of the descriptions, under the committee member roles, the final bullet of that section in each of those descriptions has a social justice and racial equity statement that aligns. So for example, in the communications committee, provide the tools and skills for adult caregivers to have balanced discussions with their children to include compassion, empathy, racial and social justice. So I'm not going to read through each of them, but you can see that. So we had very little discussion on these committee descriptions in June because, as you remember, we did not have quorum for our advisory board members. So what discussion happened did already happen at the commission level. So this is just your opportunity to have any further discussion around these before approving.
Thank you very much. Let's see if there are any questions, needs for clarifications, comments from commissioners. Michelle, I have a question for you real quickly. We have 4A, B, C, and D. Are we taking each of these separately right now, just on A?
Let me look to Sarah here. I think you can make a motion to approve all of them.
Okay.
As a package.
Yes.
Okay, and then for 4C, is recruitment with the 4 something that
No,
That is-
that is a
okay.
typo.
All
Madam
right, got
Chair.
it. I thought, is that a program? Is that something different? Okay, got it.
No.
Thank you for reminding me that I skipped some bullets in the item. It is the a request that a commissioner serves on one committee. And then we will at least one committee, but preferably just one so that we value your time. And then we will fill in committee members as needed. So I believe, for example, Chief Heitman is going to remain chair of the evaluation committee. I believe Commissioner Grimacy, you volunteered to chair the new communications committee and so forth. So we do have required quorum numbers with at least 2 commissioners on each committee in order to meet the quorum. And then we will fill in with advisory board members and community members from there.
Great, thank you.
I had a question.
Yes.
I could.
Sorry about that. I was logging on to Zoom, but give me just a moment.
The gremlins are at work.
Okay, we should be good now. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay, my question it was in terms of the advisory board members. I just want to make sure that I'm completely clear. It seemed like at the discussion that we had last time that some of the advisory members weren't entirely clear either. So as I'm understanding this now, an advisory member's term is a 2-year term, and they can have a 1-term extension. So if they choose, they could serve for 4 total years, and then they would have to rotate off. They would not be able to serve a 3rd term. When the description says prior to term expiration that staff will contact the member, that's only referring to after their 1st term to determine if they want to do a discretionary 2nd term, correct?
Correct.
And then for advisory members serving on a subcommittee, they would commit to a minimum of 1 year on the subcommittee. They may choose to participate in a full 2 years of their term on that subcommittee, but even if they elect to do a 2nd term, they cannot remain on that same subcommittee.
Correct. What we're wanting is just some varied opinions rotating through.
So my question is, does this require a bylaw change for the advisory committee? Because I don't think these were exactly the parameters of the terms previously. Can we actually do this first, or do we have to change the bylaws first?
So I'm going to defer to Maria there in Santa Barbara. I'm not sure if the advisory board is part of our bylaws. I think just the others.
Well,
committees.
this
Okay.
is Maria, and as much as the advisory board does have bylaws, and I don't think that they do, Sarah can correct me, you would need a bylaw change. You would need a proposed bylaw change. Yes, but I don't think they have bylaws.
I believe you're right, Maria. I do not believe that board has ever had those formal.
Does the
documents.
commission bylaws refer to the advisory committee though?
They do. We'd have not, the advisory board itself doesn't have separate bylaws, but the advisory board itself is a part of the commission bylaws. So we need to look at those to see what that relationship is in terms of making these changes today, or these recommended changes today. So this may be one we might have to defer for further research on that. Thank you, Chair Hartman, for bringing that. And also, while we're looking at that, if you'll notice also, we've also referred to this as advisory board. It's not necessarily a board, and so you'll see the title change. We're also recommending to a community advisory committee. But again, if we need to start with reviewing the commission bylaws regarding the advisory board, we'll do that and bring that change back to you.
So just for the record, I support what's being attempted here. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear on it and that we were doing it in the proper order.
Yes, thank you for that. We'll make sure that it's clear. So appreciate it.
So do we need to table this motion?
On this particularly the advisory board committee, because that's the only one that's really set out by bylaws in the commission bylaws. The others are subcommittees that are not part of the bylaws officially. So
just so I'm clear, and that way the record can reflect, we're going to be approving all the other committee descriptions except the advisory board, and that way that one will be coming back at a later time, correct?
yes, should the commissioner commission today want to approve the other descriptions and feel comfortable going forward, we can do those. And we, as you said, we will defer the approval so that we can bring back for clarity and bring back for clarity description and the necessary, if we need to do a bylaw change, we will bring that back for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Just a question of process. Would it be problematic to hold on the action of this entire kind of submission until that's reviewed and looked at? If it is problematic, we go forward with what you are suggesting, but it might be kind of neater to bring them all back at the same time.
It's at your discretion.
Yeah,
decide to
can
do that.
I,
Yeah.
can I just
Yeah.
comment that it will delay our recruiting of the committee members and then the meeting schedule.
Got it. That's what I wanted to make sure that wanted to understand the impacts then. So I think what we're saying is we're looking for a motion to approve all of the committees except for the one entitled Community Advisory Committee. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Great. So I just wanted to point out on the Children and Families Commission Subcommittee, there's a couple of areas where I think we can tighten up the typos. I'll be glad to hand those over to you, Wendy, and they're just letter changes.
We always appreciate that. We want to make
You
sure.
got it.
Yes, thank you.
All right, if we could have a motion to approve the other subcommittee submissions here.
I'll motion to approve. Grimacy.
Is there a second?
Thank you.
Second.
From Williams, all right.
And Sarah, just for the record, could you name the ones we are approving today so that's real clear for the record going forward?
Yes, I will add that to the minutes. Thank you, Wendy. We'll go ahead and go with a roll call now. Commissioner Hundell.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Salcido.
Aye.
Commissioner Heitman.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Nielsen.
Aye.
Commissioner Neenan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Grimacy.
Aye.
Thank you. This motion carries, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you so much. All right, now we have presentation, Peak Agenda Management System, Sarah and Dave.
Yes, thank you. And thank you so much, everyone, for being patient with us with this technology issues this morning, but it looks like we're moving along very quickly, so you will have a lot more time back on your calendars. Unfortunately, up here in Santa Maria, we are still not able to see the PowerPoint presentation, but it's been included in your packets. And if you don't have some, I have some printed in both Santa Maria and Santa Barbara. But it is my pleasure to introduce Dave. And Dave, please pardon me if I mispronounce your name. Go ahead and unmute yourself. And
I believe I'm unmuted. Can everybody hear me?
yes. So Dave, how do you pronounce your name?
Oh, it's Marriage.
Marriage. Okay, so it is my pleasure to introduce Dave Marriage this morning. He is from Granicus and he has been an outstanding ally, helping us set up our agenda management system to manage all of our agendas for the commission, advisory committee, and our committees. So we have him here this morning to talk to us a little bit about our system. And also, we will have some questions for you all at the end of the presentation that we would like to get some input from you. That way we can go ahead and finalize this phase and move forward. And when the new year comes in, in January, then we'll be ready to roll a little bit more electronically. So I will mute myself at this point. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, just to make sure everybody can see my screen with my PowerPoint up now.
I'm pretty sure everyone in South Coast can. Us up here in Santa Maria, we cannot, but we have printouts of your PowerPoint.
Okay, excellent.
Yes,
Well,
we're in South
thank you.
County. We can see.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So I am Dave. I am account executive. I'm for Granicus, specifically for special districts. I'm just up the road in San Luis Obispo. And really what I spend a lot of time on is sort of translating sort of city county tools to what is special districts, and in the case of the first five, like really a single department where they're challenged with the same things as cities and counties, as far as basically it's still the same Brown Act. And so we work specifically with them on helping to stay in compliance and be as efficient as possible. So with that said, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Granicus. I probably most. I know that we work with the county, but we're basically 30 years of legislative software experience. We were started in California as a company in San Francisco, and we have over 1 million published agendas to date. So Sarah asked me today to basically just kind of go through the basics as far as what we're going to be bringing into first five, and sort of show some of the tools that we're going to provide to just sort of improve efficiency and improve transparency and so forth. So it's really 3 components. It's all one product, but it's really 3 components. The first one is the peak agenda management. It's 100% in the cloud. It's really built to help assemble of the packets, the agendas, the minutes, and so forth. And I always like to say, when I come into circumstances, it's typically Word, it's typically emails and shared files and all sorts of clunky things. Adobe, I'm not sure what Adobe was really initially invented for, but our tool is basically built off those 1 million agendas. And it's really, we're basically taking the bottlenecks of the different processes and building that into the tool. So the primary tool that you are purchasing is Peak, and that's what you'll be utilizing. That's what Sarah will be using to really help build the agendas and the packets. I will say that we build the formatting into the tool. We actually try not to take away. So from your perspective, the packets are going to look pretty much the same. You're still going to get the Adobe PDF, which is basically tab by items and attachments. We're just going to add some extra flavor and make it more efficient. This is our media manager. This is the second component. This is basically iframe technology that will go on your website. It will allow for Sarah to basically publish those agendas pretty seamlessly. And it's also, I think it's a really nice display for the public. This is basically iframe technology that you will cut and paste onto your website. It's a one-time thing, very simple. And then I think it's a very clean environment just to basically be able to see all the agendas. We also, for all agendas that will be created with Peak, those will then become searchable. So if a resident wants to look up a particular subject, they can actually just search in, and it just sort of adds to the transparency of it. And the third piece, it's a Windows and iPad app for the board. I always like to say that this is basically a bonus. The Peak software will actually create the PDF that you're using now, but this is just an iPad app that basically it's an added tool that you can use if you choose to do so. And I have a video for that I'll show you at the end. Okay, so really quickly with Peak. So Peak, like I said, I've talked about it a lot, but it basically automates that pre-meeting process. There's a few areas in that. There's basically a dashboard. It's going to be customized for every person, where they're going to get an individual look of what they've done and what they need to do, and then also a window into upcoming meetings. I know with the number of committees, it's something that Sarah can just keep an eye on. In addition to that, basically the gist of it is I talked about basically we build the formatting in. What we basically do is because there's certain bottlenecks in the agenda process, we basically will eliminate entire steps. So what we do is, rather than having that agenda item be created with a Word document template, we basically put it into a browser. Once it's in that browser, that department person will basically input their information. And once it's in that information, it just makes the whole process that much easier, that much more flexible. And I am actually using some screenshots from your instance of it, so just be aware of that. So, and this is really kind of the gist of it here. We turn it into like really building an agenda, into really just getting items approved. And so once those items approved, it's very simple for Sarah to basically, with a few clicks, to create a public packet, create a packet for the board, to be able to publish to the web, and to also be able to send an email distribution list out to anybody that has requested to get an agenda. The nice thing about that too is that because it turns it into a single process versus sort of an Adobe process. It basically allows for flexibility. So as long as it complies with the Brown, it will be easy for Sarah to make adjustments to that agenda. If you wanted to add an item, move it around to like accommodate a speaker or accommodate somebody's schedule. So it just kind of adds for flexibility. And like I said, the final product, we spend a lot of time like in the pre-process trying to identify, anything that's going to be different with your packet. And so we've kind of identified those for Sarah, but the idea is to not change very much, just to sort of under the hood, just make it a more seamless process. And after the meeting, and this is actually during the meeting, hopefully in the future, is just when you tend to have a lot of committees in the special district world, in a world of sort of like first five, where you have a lot of committees, it really turns for the board secretary clerk role, where every day, every week basically becomes an agenda week. You're always doing minutes. And so we have a minutes tool built in that will save Sarah some time. We have access to the formatting that we put in the tool. She has access to the agenda so that she can kind of borrow from that. And rather than starting at the end of a meeting with an empty page, she'll have it about 50% done. So it'll just kind of add some flexibility to her. And so then finally, there is the iLegislate tool. And like I like to emphasize that we're not taking anything away. This is basically just an added tool that you can choose to use if you want. And you'll still have your PDF that gets sent to you. But this is either for an iPad or for a Windows machine that you can download. So there's a short 5-minute video, which I will show.
This conference will now be recorded.
And this basically just goes through the iLegislate tool.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris. I'm one of the solutions engineers here with Granicus. We're going to do a quick little overview of the Granicus iLegislate solution. We're going to be looking at the Windows version, but I want to make sure everyone understands that this also runs on iOS. So if you want to use iPads or Apple devices, this will work on that platform too. iLegislate is a e-packet or e-agenda solution for board members to use to view agendas that have been published out of any of the Granicus agenda solutions. It's a password protected application. We've got confidential information in here for the board members. So we want to make sure that
Can
signing
I
in
interrupt for
are
just a moment? May I, Dave, would you mind pausing for just a moment? This is Susan.
Sure.
Thank you. I didn't know if those in Santa Maria could actually view this video or if it's just audio. And if it's just audio, maybe we shouldn't be showing it.
Well, Madam Chair, it's okay if you guys see it. I will get the video from Dave and I will forward it over to the 3 commissioners up here. That way they can view it at their leisure. We're able to hear it, but we are not able to see it still. And if you're okay with that, we can go ahead and move forward.
Are you just saying in terms of having information in real time as we are here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't sure what we were going to view, but it seemed like it would be important to see it more than just listen to it. So I just wanted to accommodate. And we might have the information that we need right in front of us rather than needing to view. So I would excuse my interruption, but Wendy, were you going to say something too? I think you were about ready to.
No, I was just gonna, just in terms of the commissioners that are in North County, are they still comfortable? I know they can hear it, but are they uncomfortable with not seeing it?
Yeah, I'll just pass it over to those in the north, commissioners in the north, what you're thinking. Either we can see it and hear it here. So it's really about your need, knowledge, and ability to access it. Passing it on to you in the north, commissioners.
Hi, Susan. This is Emilio. I have no problem with them playing the video. I can hear it. I've got the material in front of me as
Oh,
well.
okay, got it.
Okay, well, I have shared it with Sarah as well, so she can share the link as well, but
Okay.
I'll just continue with the video then.
Thank you. Pardon the interruption. Thanks.
That'll bring me right into the application. Once I'm in here, I will have shared with me any agendas that are relevant to me based off who I am. So if I serve on one of these boards and I'm a board member for one of these meeting bodies, likely I would only be getting that agenda. The only reason someone would have all of these agendas potentially, if they're the city attorney or maybe the mayor or city administrator, someone who's going to participate in these meetings. If I'm a member of the Economic Development Board, I'm only going to see Economic Development Board agendas. The system knows who I am, what boards I'm serving on, and will automatically just share that content with me. So I don't want you to worry about board members seeing stuff that they shouldn't get into. To click on an agenda, I just choose the board the agenda that I'd like. I'm going to go into this Economic Development Board meeting. Once I do that, we've got a list of all the items we're going to talk about in this meeting. I can kind of scan the overall agenda here. If I want to get some details about a specific item, I can just click on it and it'll take me into the item details screen of that particular item. I'm able to see what the suggested action or the recommendation may be coming from one of the other boards if this item's been involved in multiple meetings. So it's really clear what we're supposed to be doing with it. There's an area in here where I can put in some notes about what I think about this item. And I can save those notes right onto the item. I also have all the supporting materials that go with this item. So any documents that were shared out of the agenda solution will be available here. And instead of needing to flip to that document in the packet and know what page number it is, if I want to look at any of these, I can just click on it and it'll take me right into the document. Once I'm in here, we can see I've already marked this one up a little bit. So I've got some notes in here. I did a drawing, I highlighted some text, I put a little sticky note on here. We can also strike out text and change the color of our pen and our highlighter if we want to do multiple color highlights. Any annotations that I put into this document can be saved. So when I pull this thing up in the future, I'll have all of that information available to me. The system also has a couple little organizational tools to help the board members. So I can see in here items that have attachments. I can see items that I've put notes on. If I put a bookmark on an item, let's go ahead and bookmark something. If I put a bookmark on an item, I'll see an icon for that as well. And I can also organize content based off what I've done with it. So if I want to see the items I put notes on, I can click on the notes button. It'll show me the item, that I put notes on. Same thing with the bookmarks, right? So if I click on that bookmark tab, it'll just show me the bookmarked items. iLegislate also connects into the rest of the Granicus platform. So if you guys are using video streaming, the videos, all the recordings of all the meetings we've done so far this year will also be listed in here. So if I wanted to go back and reference one of the previous meetings that we did this year and see, maybe an item that we're going to be reading again that got tabled, or a resolution that we need to read multiple times, I can click on that meeting. Here's going to be an agenda for that meeting, and I can click on any item and it'll take me right to that point in the meeting where we talked about that item. And
That's probably enough because the video isn't going to be incorporated into the solution. So we just wanted to give you an introduction to it, to a tool that is optional for you. Again, Peak will still be providing the PDF for you, same as you get it now, but for anybody that would like to try this tool, it's available for you.
Thank you, Dave. So with that presentation, and again, I apologize for the North County commissioners who were not able to see the presentation. We have a few questions for you all. For a few years now, we have been trying to go paperless. And with this solution, having Peak and iLegislate, it will allow you to make notes and just kind of prepare in advance, if you will, for the meeting. So we would like to know if what your thoughts are about purchasing equipment for you all. I know some of the county departments, you already have your own devices. And we are also thinking about public information requests for those that are community members. And we just wanted to open up the floor for a discussion about that, how you all felt about equipment, and any other questions that you all may have at this time.
So this is Daniel. I'll start. So I will never use something fully electronically. I do not absorb information unless I have it printed out and in my hands and I can read it and make notes on it. It's just a thing I have with my brain that does not allow me to absorb information just off of a screen. But I do have a question with what you just said about public records requests. So in this electronic system, it sounds like commissioners could view items and make notes. Are those notes their own property, or does that become part of the public record by virtue of being in this larger system?
Commissioner Nielsen, that is an excellent question, actually. And I will defer that one to Dave. Dave, since we will be setting up individual accounts for each person, would I have access to those notes and or records?
I don't believe so. They would be sequestered towards them. Technically, by the Freedom of Information Act, any sort of hand note or paper that you actually keep is actually technically fair game for public records request. So, I mean, it is something where it will, I would say almost the opposite of that is that it does help organize your public records request. And my experience with public records request is half the challenge of it is actually providing that information. So I would almost argue that the opposite is true in that the fact that we sequester that information and organize it for you would actually simplify your process.
I think also the key is we all know not to use our personal devices for work because those can be sequestered or subpoenaed. So the question would be, would you want like a Chromebook just for your commission meetings? Or would you want, I mean, our department heads already have a county issued device, and this is technically county business. So you guys would be fine. It's more for like Emilio and Lorraine and Susan Salcido and our other committee members.
But this is Commissioner Heitman. Just to be clear, if we're just viewing the materials, then there's no need, it wouldn't make a difference what device we viewed them on because the materials themselves are already available for any public records request. The only issue would come up if we were keeping electronic notes and entering those into the system or have email correspondence specific to items that might come under a public records request, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
This is Susan. I'll chime in related to devices. I was hearing a question about devices, and I would prefer not to receive an extra device. I would just take the information electronically on the devices I already have. Thank you. Anyone else? Suzanne?
I absolutely agree.
All right.
I have a question.
Great question here.
What is the cost of the software without the technology?
Question about cost from Commissioner Neenan.
It is the same, actually. The iPad app is basically just a free piece of software that you would download. Basically, there's no cost associated with it. And I think my introduction to here in my discussion with Sarah was that we always present the iPad app as sort of optional, because we don't want to change process. So if we have customers that use our tool, they're still getting paper copies because that's their preference. That's how they're used to retaining it. So in our scenario here, we would basically simplifying Sarah's job as far as to build that PDF tab packet. So you would get it the same there. And for those that chose or in the future choose to use the iPad app, it would just be there as a free option for you.
Commissioner Meany, are you referring with regards to the cost of the agenda management system or the cost of the use of this particular?
Yeah, the cost of the system, yeah.
there is a cost to that system. And Sarah, do you have that? I know, and we actually made a point of only looking at it for a year so that we weren't tied in for longer than that in case, just giving us an opportunity to look at and see if it worked. And I think it was less than 1,000. I'm not sure, Sarah. Do you have that in front
No,
of you?
it's a little bit over 3,000.
3,000.
And yes, and honestly, this was one of the better systems that I looked at. There were other systems that were over 8K a year. And the goal for us and for me more than anything was to make sure that I had a system that was simple to use. We are not a municipality like a city where you have a clerk and a whole team. There's only 6 of us or 7 of us at some point. And so for us, it's really important to have a simple system that we could work on, that we can get our materials with. And the peak system really did that for, it's going to be doing that for us. And the price, we could not beat that compared to others.
Thank you. That answers my question.
And if I could just add, just making some notes to myself, over the time that we've really been looking at this in terms of making our processes more efficient and able to be mindful of the time that you have getting information to you in a timely and quick manner. And I just want to, there's been a great amount of research and time here to make sure that we're doing that. Also, as part of our Renew 22 principles, how we can be more efficient and cost efficient in terms of time, people time in terms of that. And so I think we're there. There's a lot of use in this that perhaps we don't necessarily need in terms of that, but at the same time that at some point we want to make sure it's an adaptable system as things change, and we make sure that we're continuing to be relative to things that are changing around us, and also making sure, again, as you as commissioners is making efficient your time. And the bonus was just asking, do you want to know the advice? Certainly not to say that that was something we were recommending, but should you need and want that separate device, we were saying that that's available as well, but certainly understand not wanting one.
Great. Go ahead, please.
So I have first of all, just a comment. I've used the Granicus system for county agendas for the past 5 years, and it's a useful tool. I don't use paper, materials beyond maybe for the, I guess, similar reasons as Daniel. Occasionally we'll have the printed 2-page agenda, but the 200 pages of supporting materials will be on this. It's useful for a couple reasons. One is because increasingly people do some work at home and some work here. So that's one reason why it's useful. The other is just the enormous amount of time that the county clerk's office used to spend in paper agendas. I mean, it used to be a production. So I think it took 4 years, but all supervisors are now on paperless devices for the agendas. The systems worked well. My one question is mainly for those county staff related to that, is that will the agendas for First 5 appear in our current app on our device on iLegislate, because it's the same program, right? And so I go there not only for the county agendas, I go there for APCD, I go there for SPCAG, I go there for APCD, any committee meetings like our legislative committee, and so the only 2 organizations that I don't have on there is SPCAG and First 5. So I'm just wondering if this will be, the agendas will appear with the same version of iLegislate as we have currently for those county employees.
Thank you for your question, Supervisor Williams. That's something that Dave and I can talk about and see how we can integrate our agenda to what you have existing at the moment.
Great. And if there's some questions to it, maybe APCD, because that was integrated, knows how they integrated it, but because we access APCD agendas through the same method.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
I have a few other questions or a
Perfect.
few other
Oh,
comments,
perfect.
Madam Chair, if it's okay.
Of course.
So moving forward, thank you so much to everyone for your input today. That this gives us a lot of information for us to move forward. And thank you, Dave, for being here today and for working with us on getting this project rolled out. Moving forward, I am going to take the rest of the year. So from September to December, I will be working with Summers on the integration of this program into our website. We are also now with the direction that you all have given us about no devices, no additional devices. We are going to also be putting out some information about training. So if the commission does want to use the iLegislate app to make notes or not, we will have some training available for you. So you know how to use the system. And our goal is to roll this out in January. So unless there are other questions from our commissioners in North County or South County, we'll go ahead and close this item out.
Hearing none, Wendy, did you have a comment?
I would just say that, as we're bringing this along, certainly we're introducing it for a second time in terms of those pieces. But if questions should come up in between that time, please feel free to reach out to Sarah, as that will be great input as a continuum. So it's ready to roll out. You're fully informed and trained on how to use the system when we get ready to roll out in January.
Great, thank you. Thanks so much, Sarah and Dave for the presentation and for all the work. We all really appreciate that you're bringing this to us so that we have clarity, and yet we want to thank you because it's something that you have spent a lot of time putting together in the PDF mode, paper pencil mode, so to speak, and now we're moving it to an electronic basis and looking forward to working through it, and I know we'll be able to ask questions along the way. So
Yes,
thanks so
thank you.
much. Appreciate it. With that, we come to the conclusion of the agenda. Are there any other additions? Sarah, anything further that we need to just cover before we adjourn?
No, Madam Chair, the only other announcement that I'd like to make is that our next meeting is going to be on Monday, September 19th. We are hoping to have it here at the Board of Supervisors in Santa Maria. And I promise you, we will not have tech issues next time. So until then, our hope is to go ahead and open up both hearing rooms for that. So that was it. I hope you guys have a good week, and we'll see you guys next month.
Thank you, everybody. We have adjourned. Thanks.